Hello and welcome to this little video of Easter eggs and things you may indeed have missed in my story, The Case of the Weird Wonderland, which is from Sam Spallucci, Lux Æterna. I hope you enjoy it, and if you do, please, why not give it a little like? And if you haven't done so already, why not subscribe? I post lots of videos about varying bits and bobs all over this YouTube business. There might be something else you enjoy. Before I go whiffling on for the next few minutes, I just want to give a huge shout out to all the people who helped to make this book and indeed this video possible. A huge thank you to Deb Steamgoff, Jacob Matz, Lee Hardy, Sharon Farimond, Kevin Denwood, Beck Pierce, Paul Lewis, Gemma Innes, Charlie and Melissa. If you'd like to hear your name cried out randomly across the internet from time to time, why not consider subscribing to my Patreon? It starts from just £1 a month, that's all, and it helps me with the publication costs towards my books. The higher tiers, such as Seraph tier, even get free books whenever they're published. Details are down below and at my website aireschambers.co.uk. Number 1, Auntie Vi. So Sam talks about this memory he has of when his mum had a cleaning job, and during the holidays she left him with her elderly friend, Auntie Vi, and it didn't work out. Sam never went back. This is actually a true story. This is from my childhood. My mum was indeed a cleaner, and one of her old friends was called Violet Drew, and she did not enjoy looking after an overexcited 8-year-old. Number 2, The Elderly Psychic. So this is a direct continuation of the short story Perchance to Dream, which is in my 2023 anthology Out of the Depths, and it is regarding the psychic Agnes Broadbent, who turns up on Sam's doorstep and says that she has a message for him from Spliff. Number 3, Sam in Wonderland. Now, I've always been a fan of Lewis Carroll's stories, you know, the two Alice outings, both Through the Looking Glass and Wonderland. So it was kind of inevitable that they were going to end up in the Spallucciverse at some point. Just as it was also inevitable that I was going to have poor Sam dressed up as Alice, complete with the frock and the shoes. And I just thought that, yeah, Lucifer was really going to be the white rabbit leading him round this sort of thing, and then we get to really explore the dynamic of the two characters together over a long story rather than just the few little scenes we normally have them in. Number 4, you ought to see him with the Mayo and the orgasmic footpath. This is a callback to way back in the casebook of Sam Spallucci, the case of the Vexed Vampire, where you get Spliff looking for the mayonnaise. Mayo, where's the bloody mayo? And an orgasmic footpath, well, let's face it, it is the sort of thing he would create, isn't it? Number 5, the Mad Hatter's Tea Party. So here we have the children of Cain, Scorpion, Tigress and Marcus, as the March Hare, the Dormouse and the Mad Hatter respectively. But it takes a very dark turn, where we see that the vampires are obviously aware of how they're going to die, and also this obsession again with the virtuous man. Themes which recur over and over again in Spallucciverse, especially the virtuous man as we're heading towards Divergence. The question is, have you spotted anything else in this little scene? There are a few other things dotted in there. If you have, comments down below please, that'd be fantastic. Number 6, the topiary Michelangelo's David and the silk cut hedge. In the next scene we have a topiary Michelangelo and we have this silk cut hedge. Again, these are representative of Spliff. He had the statue of Michelangelo, it's like a human size one, in his vestibule where he used to put his hat, and he smoked silk cut. Of course, Sam always smoked Lucky Strikes. Number 7, the Chimera. Now, the Chimera was this mythical beast from ancient Greek which had numerous heads of different creatures. Normally, I think so, if on the top of my head, it was the goat, the snake, and the lion, although they do tend to vary sometimes. Now, the more perceptive of you will notice that this creature has cropped up a number of times throughout the books. Malcolm Mollis was obsessed with it. He had an image of it and he gave it to all the five Satanists. And in Fury of the Fallen, Sam sees the Chimera in one of his dreams. Now the question is, what does this Chimera represent? You know, and have you heard it used somewhere else before? If you've read all the books, you might have done. Again, comments down below. Fab. Number 8, Caterpillar Spliff. It had to be the caterpillar. I mean, his nickname Spliff is obviously to do with sort of like his drugs when he was at university, and the caterpillar is a complete stoner, so it was no brainer. Plus, I also got to do the joke of Spliff running very very slowly, and then them catching up, which I enjoyed. You know, it was a very visual sort of thing. But even as the caterpillar, he's still trying to ward Sam away from this path. You know, he knows that this path which Sam is on could be destructive for him. So even after he's died, he is still trying to be Sam's rock. Number 9, the Cheshire Dog. I've always found the Cheshire Cat very, very creepy. I think it's all those teeth. And I really play on that with Vincent Stone here. But obviously he couldn't be a cat, he had to be a dog. Because, you know, he's a werewolf. And dogs are 99% wolf. Hopefully not werewolf. That'd be a bit weird. So there we have the Cheshire Dog. And obviously he lists all these people that Sam has killed. But then he takes on Lucifer. And obviously he loses. Because you do not annoy a very, very angry seraph. Nobody gets away with that. Number 10. Asmodeus, Asherah, and Wallace. So, the cottage in which we find the Fallen and the little piggy Wallace is actually, again, based on a memory of my childhood and another friend of my mother. She had a friend who lived in a cottage just like this, little thatched cottage, out in a village called Mears Ashby in Northamptonshire, where I grew up. And it had an outdoor loo, with which I was fascinated. Here we have Ash doing what she enjoys, cooking. You know, this is again call back to Fury of the Fallen. The fish reference is a reference to the Book of Tobit, where Asmodeus is warded off. The demon Asmodeus is warded off because of fish. He is allergic to fish. I love the Book of Tobit. It's possibly my favourite book in the Bible. If you haven't read it, go away and read it. It's a real sort of like, yeah, it's just a good sort of like story. I hope one of these days to write my own version of it. We'd have Asmodeus and we'd have Dagon, so that'd be kind of fun. Also, this is the first time that the reader has the Fallen and Lucifer together in the same room. If you've read this book before, Child of Light, and it shows just how terrified they are of him. You know, Lucifer is badass. You know, they really are Z-listers compared to him. Number 11, paradox. The notion of a paradox is mentioned a number of times in the Spallucci-verse, certainly up to here. But this is the point where it really starts to take hold. We've had Sam mention his lighter a few times about that being a paradox because it shouldn't exist. It was given to him by Caroline, but that was Caroline from an alternate universe which hadn't happened. Here, Lucifer is paranoid about creating a paradox because he feels that, you know, they're not a good thing, so he doesn't want to do the wrong thing. And in the Bobby Normal books, we have the Abyss wanting to create a paradox. She wants to send Bobby back to stop the divergence from happening. So Bobby, in that sense, would become a paradox. Here we find two more paradoxes, the Tweedledum and Tweedledee figures. John Adamson, who is Sam's son, and this other youth who seems very important, shall we say, to Lucifer. I really ramped up the feeling of surrealism with this because they are both trapped beyond. And beyond is this hell dimension where things aren't what they should be. So I want to start building up this sense of wrongness with that dimension before I write the story of certain characters going there at a later point. Number 12, the Titan. Okay, so the Titan is now becoming quite a pivotal character in the Spallucciverse. Yeah, he's going to destroy everything. It's been mentioned before in other outings, but we now see that everything's going to circle around this character, whoever it might be, because they are going to destroy the universe. Perhaps the question is, should that be stopped? And if it can, how will it be stopped? Number 13, Sam's trial. So, just as Alice was put on trial, so we have Sam with this kangaroo court. There's varying like characters there from his past. Most of them he's killed. Like the Knave of Hearts is Beck's mother. And you have the King and the Queen. The Queen is the Abyss, which those who've read the Bobby Normal books will recognise. And the King, in this case, is old dark and hooded himself, Kano. So, I hope you enjoyed that little dive into Lux Æterna, into the case of the Weird Wonderland. There's going to be other videos like this, so don't forget, like, subscribe, and you'll get to see them all. Patreon, website, links down below. You know what to do. Take care. I'll see you again soon. Bye bye now.